Right, so they'll do the lay down. Yellow cab is $75 to get started, and they've got a one over here. This is third party. They'll hook you up with the yellow cab. You pay, I don't even know how much you pay. Sometimes they don't make you pay for the actual borrowing of the cab to start driving it. But it's not too bad to start up with pretty promising little career transport. I'm gonna have to hold off on it right now, but I'm definitely looking into another company called a Handy Cab, which is basically where you drive around handicapped people. There's certain cabs that are handicap accessible, and your really job is just to make sure handicapped people get around. And it's a total of starting up, I think, $0 starting up. So I'm gonna look them up. I got the information from another handicap driver, and it looks like it's a pretty good one. So I might check them out. They're called Handy Cab, and I don't know where they're based out of, but they do train you. You do have to get training. I think it's like 4 days of training or 3 days of training. I think he said it was like 3 days of training, and then you're good to go. They're 331 right there. It's amazing how some of these places in Dallas are actually cheaper. Those cats landed at the Fairfield, right? And probably, I don't even want to, everybody knows about Northwest Highway. Just to say it's shady. But probably one of the most shadiest places in the nation, to be honest. Other than maybe some places in East Los Angeles. One of the guys looked like Rob Dyrdek, the skateboarder from Skate 3. He had the hat and everything. I thought it was him. I was going to ask him, but I didn't want to be rude or anything. Or it looked like his cousin or something. The other dude was just some other guy. Had some kids and stuff, but he literally, if he had a skateboard in his hand, because he had the hat and everything, I would think it was Rob Dyrdek, or Dyrdek, whatever his name is. The guy that's in Skate 3. He's got the hat and everything. Looked exactly like him, like a spitting image. And then the other day, I was at, I was at DFW, and there was this young lady. She looked exactly like Jennifer Connelly, and I went, "Oh my goodness!" But it was like a young version. So I took out my internet and movie database and like pulled up her headshot and said, "Has anyone ever said that you look like her?" And she said, "Yeah." I thought it was Jennifer Connelly for a second, but it was like a younger version of her. I didn't think it was Jennifer Connelly because Jennifer Connelly's older now. She's like almost like a grandma. She's older. This looked like a young version of Jennifer Connelly. It was scary looking. But, because it was so frighteningly, it looked exactly like her. It was like, whoa. Because I was like right by the baggage claim. I was like looking like, I was like, you look exactly like Jennifer Connelly. Yeah, but that dude looked like Rob Dyrdek from Skate 3. You ever played not Tony Hawk. I think he hung out with Tony Hawk. The game is called Skate 3, but it's about skaters and stuff. I think he's in it. No, he's in the Tony Hawk version. Right. I think he's in the, he may be in both. But he's just a famous skater. But that dude, I don't think it was him, though. It just looked like him. I didn't want to say, hey, you look like Rob Dyrdek, whatever his name is, because I couldn't really pronounce his last name. He's a skater. He's also in, like, film and media, like Johnny Knoxville stuff. I think he helps out with a little bit of that kind of stuff. I don't know if he's worked with Johnny Knoxville, but he's done some stunts and things like that. I just thought it was cool. Anyway. So Love Field is where JFK landed. So that's where he landed there, Air Force One. And then he went over to Fort Worth first, which is a further drive. And that was on November 21st of 1963. So November 21st of 2000 November 21st of 1963. I don't know why I couldn't say the word 1963. But November 21st of 1963. And then he went to Fort Worth and he gave a speech that was unscheduled. So it was not a scheduled stop. And he did actually do this. And the Secret Service were kind of weird about it because it was not scheduled. So they didn't have time to scope it out. But he felt safe at Fort Worth. And then the next day, he just, trekked over to, you guessed it, Dallas, which was scheduled on November 22nd of 1963, and did not leave alive. He was executed in front of his wife. The caravan held a governor who was shot in the wrist, or a lone gunman. It's a very violent thing that happened all at once in one day. Over really nothing. The whole story of Lee Harvey Oswald needs to be covered. It's an amazing story, just from, when he was young to when he died as a young man because of Jack Ruby's hatred towards him. It just seemed like all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there became an extreme hatred for somebody, that really was not justified. There was no justification in killing the commander-in-chief, John F. Kennedy. There was no justification. Now, what's even interesting is on Reagan, the attempted, when he was shot in his lung, though Reagan almost died, that was just all insanity. It was all written out, John Hinckley and Joni Foster and Taxi Driver and all this weird stuff. All of that was completely insane. And he was released. John Hinckley was actually released because they had come to conclusion that he was not in his right mind. But with Lee Harvey Oswald, I think he probably would have been tried and got the death penalty for what he did. But it's an interesting story. Well, he was given street justice with Jack Ruby. But it's an interesting story. It really is. Lee Harvey Oswald's story. And Dealey Plaza is still there, and they talk about it. And there's more investigation that's done about Lee Harvey Oswald and everything. There's more stuff that's coming out. And more even conspiracy theory. People do believe that he was behind some of it. They believe that he was part of it because he was up there, on the 6th floor. His lunch was there and everything. The rifle was found and the prints and all that stuff. Oh, cool. This is transportation on demand. It's called Love Ride. Huh. I'm gonna look them up. They got a phone number and everything. I'm gonna call them, check them out. All right, this should be easy to remember. It's right by the stair. Level 1, stair 1. It's a hologram. It's crazy. Never seen one before. That is really amazing. Huh. It's pretty cool. Telluride. It's X-Pro. It's pretty cool. This is actually Dallas's first. It's here's a phone number on it right here. But that's the Hunts Bridge right here. It's pretty cool. It's a photo of it. It's downtown Dallas sky view, or skyline view. The thing about Love Field is it's not bad. It's a little cramped, and the carts, I don't think they have a return cart thing here, so it's kind of, I don't know, kind of drab a little bit. It's not like I don't hate it or anything like that, but there's some of that kind of stuff, Dallas is like a different, it's a different feel. But, left field's good, though. It's a good little place to land, Southwest. But it seems like the traffic's a little slow today. And I'm probably going to head back to DFW. It just seems like, I don't know, I like the return carts because, time is money. And, you get a hold of one of those carts and quarters add up, I think I made, I don't know, like a few dollars off just that alone. But still, it helps every once in a while. Like when Linda was applying to the 77 Main Street place, I was able to use the quarters for the meter, things like that. So it all works out in the end. But there it just seems, I don't know, seems kind of fancy but a little slow. But that's just how Southwest is, though. It's fine. It's not American Airlines or anything like that. But Southwest is still pretty cool. You can get some good prices on Southwest, but American's got a bigger fleet. So, and those carts are just kind of like just sitting there all by themselves. Kind of see that cart. You can't like return it or anything like that. I'm just gonna head back while I can. Everyone just seemed like they were either they already had a rental car, blah blah blah, whatever, So I don't know. I always wondered if Lee Harvey Oswald was just like too desperate. He always looked kind of desperate. Why he did what he did. His heat exhaustion. He's working at this little bookstore, probably making just barely enough to get by, him and his wife and his kid. Because I think he was a father. It's a weird thing to do, like it was a way out for him is what I feel. It was like an escape from reality. And he thought he was going to be a hero on one part of the world, and he became an enemy, It's a weird thing that he got sucked into at such a young age, too. It's a shame. Probably nowadays he probably would have been put on Prozac or Zoloft and maybe second guessed it, or something. Even not that stuff could have made it worse, though. Because there are people that are like him that are younger. Good to go. The drive out of Dallas left field's kind of cool too, because you got a shot of the skyline of Dallas right here. It's kind of pretty to look at. Different holidays, they light it up different colors, things like that. There goes Southwest. It's good for like you're flying to California and things like that. Maybe you don't have to pay as much. Of course, I heard like sometimes their peanuts are stale and stuff like that, but I don't know. It's just Southwest. Sometimes the pretzels they kind of fall apart in the package, But you get a better fly. I mean, you get a better. You pay less money. Let's just put it that way. I don't know if it's a better flight. Southwest is kind of the Walmart in the sky, It's a cheaper airline. But still, they run mostly through love field, though. People need to save money, I don't know. I don't know much about Southwest. I'm sure they're fine. West Mockingbird Lane. in a situation when it comes to family and family law, in some cases, suing the wife will make things worse, because the wife is obviously like under a spell of this world. This world's not a good place, and she's under like a spell. So if you sue her, she's only going to use the law against you, which is going to harm you. And plus, when it comes to kids, you do have to make quite a bit of money to help the kids. So part of this vlog is to show you my journey and career, where maybe one day I'll actually make enough, and I'm hoping it's going to be with YouTube, where I will be able to bring the kids and have that involved. And being a parent, which is what I'm still in. I am still a parent. I'm not really allowed to see the kids right now, but I'm still a parent though, regardless, because I'm in a parental situation. It still makes me a parent. Just if I'm an ex-husband to my wife, I'm still a husband, because if you're an ex-husband, you're still a husband. And if you're an ex-wife, you're still a wife. Just like your kids are still your kids, no matter what, Even though the world does everything they can in their power to separate you from delivering the word of God to your children. That's the most dangerous thing for the enemy. The enemy does not want you to be able, as a father, to be able to deliver the word of God to your own children. And that's what I was doing shortly before my children were taken away from me. I was delivering the word of God to them. So that's how the world is set up. And, John Bunyan faced this stuff in Pilgrim's Progress. He talked about a lot of this. Nice little airplane passing over. He talked over a lot of this kind of stuff about legality. Legality is not always the easy way out. People think it is, but it actually makes things more difficult. And in divorce, it makes it very, very difficult. Because what you really want in life is you want a family unit that's going to stay together. You want the husband and wife to stay together, and you want the kids to stay together all in one unit. Not everybody gets that, though, because of death and divorce and a lot of other things. Not everybody gets to have what's called a nuclear family. And all these different aspects can come between you and your family. Even when you do have your family and you do have custody of your children, you don't always get to see them, right? For certain reasons, right? Especially if it's in divorce. Divorce, it's better for them just to go to one parent. Ambiguity kills, It's this way or that way. It's not both ways at the same time. It'll never be that. It'll never be left and right at the same time, or up or down at the same time. That just doesn't happen. You have to make a decision. Documentaries. Hard word to say, documentary. It's very difficult to make, but it does take footage. Alright, so right down this way and then over this way. backside of Fort Worth and the gates. I call them the gates. Could also be the front side, but it's basically the gates of Fort Worth is what I call this Mixmaster. You leave Haltom right here, past Mark IV Parkway, and you enter into Fort Worth, Texas, where they keep the good people in and the bad people out. Ingmar Bergman, the Swedish director, was probably one of our greatest directors and also an open atheist, which I once was, but no longer. I'm an open believer in Jesus Christ. But I do have one thing that I struggle with other than the whole idea or the whole concept of suffering, which most Christians suffer, and most Christians deal with suffering. But the one thing that I wanted to question was, if God knows we're all broken people, and that the world is broken, then why has he made a design where everything has to be perfect? I know that's kind of hard to understand, but why is the design of this world under perfection when everything is broken and we're broken? It's trying to fit a broken piece into something that doesn't work. So why is perfection even an idea in God's world? I'm starting to believe that that's probably not God's design, that that's probably the enemy's. But then, you know, Jesus Christ was a perfect person. And that word is used, perfect. Yet also the world is broken, and we're broken. So we have to deal with perfect. We have to deal with the perfect. You know, with how this world wants things to be perfect. Everything, you know, has to fit in this kind of perfect thing. So why is that part of his design? That becomes kind of like torture, you know, and maybe some of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. Why is that part of his design? And it's either an illusion created by the enemy, because the enemy wanted to be God, so he wanted to recreate or restructure the world, and this perfection thing is only an illusion, because we know that we're broken. Or it's the opposite. Maybe brokenness is an illusion, and we're all perfect. But yet it doesn't work that way, you know. If there's a problem or an issue, it usually has to do with a lack of perfection. And nowadays we're in such regulation and user and password kind of thing, and approval is always needed when we're God's children. What approval do we need? We're already God's children. Why would we even seek for approval? And if you truly know that you're God's child and you're part of God's children and part of his people, you wouldn't even look for approval. You would know it's already there. There's Kitty. Hello. Did you fall asleep again? You still asleep? Hey. Sweetie. You still asleep? I don't want you to sleep on your phone. There's Kitty. Did you want some cat food? We'll turn it into a cat commercial. You didn't poop too much. some food. Kitty's gonna get 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 some food. Looks like Linda got into the corn. Kitty's gonna get some food. Oh yes, Kitty. Oh yes. The cat's gonna get some food. Thank you, Jesus, Kitty. He loves the birds in the field just as much as he loves us. He doesn't just love the birds in the field, but he loves us too. And that's Jesus Christ, the ruler of your life. And if he's not the ruler of your life, you better watch out, because he's gonna get you. All right, Kitty. Here we go. Here we go, Kitty. Yes, we got some food. Yes, we do. Some kitty food. Oh, he loves it. All right, so I know I promised you guys Ghostbuster review. I'm not doing all 3 movies. I'm just doing the newest Ghostbuster. So I'm only doing the new one, which has some of these guys in it right here. One of the guys in Stranger Things is in it. Finn. His name's Finn. He's a really good actor. I want to ask him to be a part of the werewolf movie that I'm writing. And then later on, we're going to throw this in. This is a video game that made a very good movie. Actually made a cable series, The Last of Us. We're going to look at this one a little bit later. For right now, we're focusing on who you're going to call Ghostbusters. What I noticed about these particular type of DVDs is they stack all 3. There's 3 of them right here. So you have to kind of go one by one. That's probably the original one right there. No, that's Afterlife. That's the first. That's the one I'm looking for. These are the other ones that are underneath. And I did have a birthday party at the age of 12 years old, and everyone had a shirt at the birthday party that looked exactly like that. It was the only surprise birthday party I ever had in my entire life. And I opened the door, everyone was wearing a black t-shirt with a ghost that had a little thing, you know, this little non-ghost thing, this no ghost kind of thing, you know. And it happened in Albuquerque, New Mexico. True story. My cousin Josh's house, his mom Cindy and his dad David threw me my only surprise birthday party at the age of 12, and it was a Ghostbuster birthday party. We wore those. Anyway, these are hard to get out of, so you just kind of pop them out, and you got the next one, and you can see the other one in there too. See how they're stacked in there. Most of them are. Oh wait, I gotta get the ramen. Hang on just a second. Get over there. Yeah, get this going on right here. I'm actually doing a cooking show and a Ghostbuster thing at the same time. Got some ramen going. About to drop the chicken flavor with the tuna, like chicken and tuna. Chicken of the sea, as Paris Hilton says. Oh no, it wasn't Paris Hilton. That wasn't Paris Hilton, that was someone else. That was Britney Spears or someone like that. Okay. Something to do with chicken. Does chicken really come from the sea? No, it's actually tuna. Never moved that over that way. There's a ghost. It's a ghost kitty. Move that off. Throw that off there. It's pretty much ready right now. I'll put a little bit of bell pepper in there. I'll be eating this. Rainn Wilson did this for about 15 years before he got discovered on The Office. He lived on noodles. Probably tuna too. Because tuna's cheaper, the cheaper meat. Kind of the scum of the meats, as they would say. But you do what you gotta do, right, Kitty? You didn't get tuna that time, did you? All right, let's see if we can get this going here. All right, Afterlife is the name of it. It's got Finn in it. We're gonna put this puppy in the PS3. Let it swallow that up there. Oh my gosh, it's dusty. Yeah, my place just got a recent filter, so it got a little bit better. Kitty, we don't go in there. Let's see if we can turn on Ghostbusters beginning. Got this thing right here. Kitty, we don't do that. You know better. He likes to crawl in there and smell things. Okay, over this way. This thing was really difficult to rebuild when I moved here. It was very difficult. What I did is I vlogged taking it apart and then vlog putting it back together. Didn't I, kitty? Linda helped me move in here. I think she spent like 60 bucks on the U-Haul. The night before the move, she got arrested for public intoxication by a guy named Officer Bell, state trooper along the highway. They threw her in solitary. Not tonight, but I mean, when she has this little thing where I'm not gonna tell you how she turns things into a PI, but I'll have to tell you about how she got out of a worser charge. But anyway, so it's starting up. I'll tell you about Ghostbusters. I'm not gonna show a lot of it. I just want to show you. It's Sony Pictures. Let's see what the opening looks like. I think they'll let me do the opening sometimes. Oh, whoa. Hang on. I'm doing the opening.
Ruin that scene for you?
There's something right there. So that's the opening right there. Opening page, or the title page, as they say. Title menu. Yeah, that's what they call it. Title menu.